checking you out and being overly polite, and you clearly got no problem with us. So what's the issue?
I asked you if we were obliged to answer the question, and that's all I've asked.
I'm not stupid. We're doing our job, mate. That's all we're doing. So I don't see what the issue is.
Right, we're photographers, we're taking photos. That's it. There's nothing more complicated. There's nothing more complicated, and there's nothing sinister about it.
Is that you? No problem?
Yeah.
We know why you're here.
The channel where we highlight questionable conduct, examine police encounters and legal issues, stand up for individual rights, and hold public authorities to account. Today's footage comes courtesy of NB Media UK, so make sure to visit the link in the description, subscribe to the channel, and support the creator behind the original video. In this encounter, NB Media arrives at East Midlands Airport after obtaining permission to take photographs. But despite that approval, airport staff still escalate the situation by involving the police. From the moment officers arrive, they appear determined to find grounds to justify the call. Repeatedly seeking information they have no lawful basis to demand simply because someone was uneasy about seeing a camera. Rather than questioning why security considered legitimate photography a police issue in the first place, they treat an entirely lawful activity as though it were suspicious and continue pressing the matter, even after it becomes clear that no offense has taken place. The outcome only raises more concerns, because once it is obvious the law offers them no support, the response shifts to excluding NB Media from the airport instead.
Have you got details?
So it's how you speak to people.
They've got permission from the airport.
No. Have you got details?
Here.
Can we get the details? Can you speak to the duty manager?
Yeah.
Ask him.
Look, it
see.
was Lynn Groves, wasn't it, on that thing we gave you permission?
Speak to the duty manager.
Do you suspect us of committing any crimes?
I suspect of you that you've not got proper permission. And
Right,
as
it's
far
just
as
shown
I'm
him.
concerned, if I speak to the duty manager and they say they don't want you on the airport, we'll get you banned from the airport.
Wow.
So
Have you got any identification on you,
details.
fella?
I haven't got any on me, no.
What's your name, buddy?
Am I obliged to give it you?
Crime would be criminal.
It would help with
I'm
our
not being-
inquiries,
not being
yeah, because we
awkward,
don't
but,
want to make it
This
any
is
more
all
difficult
private
for you.
property and it's
Right.
covered by
So I
bylaw.
just
Why-
want to check you
how's
out in our
one of the
system to make
bylaws?
sure you aren't
Yeah.
any sort of security threat to the airport or us.
Right.
So it's up to you.
Yeah.
I'm just
At this
gonna
stage you don't, but if
Right.
we escalate things then you might not have a choice. And
I'm going to instigate that, yeah.
so,
Because as far
what's your
as I'm
name, mate?
concerned,
Right,
you
I'd
have
rather
got permission to do
not
what
give
you're
it you at the
doing.
moment,
You
if that's
are
okay.
fine, suits me.
Not
Yeah, if I'm not
exactly
obliged to.
forthcoming with any.
I mean, are we suspected of
No, you've
anything?
said no, mate, so don't worry about that.
But are we suspected of anything?
From a public footpath, a member of the public can take photographs.
You're not suspected of anything. What we're saying is, have you got the right permission to be
It's just
filming
shown
on
you.
a security
Yeah, it's just shown you the permission.
restrictive area?
You're taking it,
Well, no, we've
From
seen
a-
an email from a female that we don't know.
Right.
She's not management at the airport, as far as
Why are
we're
you
aware,
taking photographs?
and you need it from
And I'm
management.
asking you a question. Where
Where
are you
does
taking
it say that
photographs?
anywhere in there is a restricted area?
Lots of places. If you actually look
Can
on
you
the
show- could you
if
show-
you,
could you
if you-
show me
can you let me finish?
If you can show me a...
If you let me finish.
NB Media promptly
Well,
shows
not
the
really.
officers the email confirming that permission had already been granted to photograph the airport. Rather than viewing that as a straightforward way to clear up the situation, they
Being surrounded.
continue as if the approval carries no weight at all. They even suggest that NB
Cheers.
Media is being confrontational, despite the footage showing nothing more than calm responses and reasonable questions being put to
Hey,
the
up.
officers. The most significant escalation comes when the conversation shifts toward terrorism. While police are
This
fully
isn't airport
entitled to
property, is it?
remain vigilant at locations
Isn't this
considered
public
sensitive,
footpath?
any suspicion must be
No, but is it a
supported by
public footpath?
objective evidence rather than arising solely
No, is this a public
because
footpath?
someone
Is it a
is
public
using
right of way?
camera. Under Section
Is it-
43 of the Terrorism Act
No, just-
2000,
no, just- and can you
officers
not
can
just- do you know
only
if this is
exercise
public
those
footpath?
powers
Is it
when they
public
have
right of way?
reasonable grounds to suspect
Yes.
that the individual
Is it a public
concerned
right of
is
way?
a terrorist.
If you let me finish. No, it's you that's interrupting me, and I will get ratty if I want to get ratty. All the perimeter fencing, every 20 metres has got security signs on it. All right. And as far as I'm concerned, we're going to take your details. Why are you recording? No, we haven't got your details.
No, you're done saying what you were saying.
Why are you
About the
recording?
perimeter fencing, because there's no perimeter fencing on that footpath there. It's all over there.
This is private land. This is private land.
Oh, right. Do you suspect me of committing a crime?
I've said my piece, and that's all I'm saying. So
that's a
we'll
no.
take,
That's a no.
we'll
Then,
take
yeah?
your details.
Do you suspect me of committing a crime?
We'll
Yes
take
or
your
no?
details, and we'll get the duty manager to say that you're not allowed to be on the airport.
This chap's refusing details, so
Right, okay.
Because
I know yesterday. Is
So
there any
you were
reason
gonna
why
say
you're
something?
being difficult, mate? I'm asking.
Even after being informed from the very beginning that NB Media had documented permission to photograph the airport, the officer's attention quickly turns to whether their personal details have been obtained, without ever identifying the legal authority that would justify demanding that information in the first place. He then goes on to question whether the permission is genuine, despite the fact that the call itself stems from that very authorization already having been presented. Genuine suspicion has to arise from objective evidence, not from disregarding information simply because it undermines a conclusion that's already been formed. When the officers are asked to identify what offense has actually taken place, no specific crime is ever pointed to. Instead of establishing any unlawful conduct, the discussion abruptly moves toward removing NB Media from the airport altogether, a shift that speaks volumes about the direction the encounter has taken.
You're being difficult, mate. I'm asking you civilly. Because we were
Standing up
overly
for-
polite with
I'm
you.
standing up for my rights, that's all. If I'm not
Right.
obliged to give you details, then I
So
won't.
police officers in uniform will come along after we've had a complaint of how you spoke to people. You're in a high security area of an airport. The current threat nationally is severe. We don't know you from Adam. We've come along, asked you what you're up to, and straight away you had attitude with us. We didn't with you, and you've been. I don't understand why. If you've got nothing to hide, why wouldn't you be polite and just say, "Here's my ID, mate. Here's the email." We'd do a couple of checks, and that's it. But
Because
you're
I'm-
making a
because I'm not
drama
obliged
out of
to, and
nothing.
you didn't ask me for my details immediately.
So why are you taking that stance if you're not obliged to? I don't understand that, because I wouldn't. If I was out photographing, which is your hobby, I get it. Why would you be difficult with the cops when they come along to check you out? If we're just trying to do everyone a
I
service.
wouldn't say we're being difficult by asking you a question.
Well, yeah,
And
you've been
asked us a
problematic
question.
and you've been difficult with us, and you're
Okay.
clearly anti-police.
We've spoke to the manager.
Not at all, I'm not
Lynn
cooperating.
Groves. Lynn Groves is only a property officer. She's not even.
As the encounter continues, the officers appear to abandon their original position and replace it with a different justification once the first one begins to fall apart. Their new argument is that the photography permission carries no weight because it was not issued by airport management. Even if that were true, it would be an internal matter for the airport to deal with and would not, by itself, transform the situation into a criminal investigation or justify police involvement. The discussion becomes even less clear when the focus shifts to claims about private property, despite NB Media maintaining they are standing on a public footpath. If that is accurate, the obvious first step should have been to establish exactly where the boundary lies before reaching any conclusions. Throughout the exchange, the officers continue pressing for personal information, yet they still do not explain which legal power entitles them to require it. In England and Wales, police cannot demand a person's name and address simply because they would like to know it. They must be able to rely on a specific statutory power that authorizes such a requirement.
Anything to do with the actual managing of the airport at all.
Well,
We've spoke to.
You've seen on the email, it was her that emailed
We've
me,
spoke
wasn't
to the duty manager, and you don't have permission. She's not going to give you permission. Okay. Obviously, we won't be doing our job. This is a security sensitive area. We won't be doing our job if we didn't check people who are taking photographs of a security restricted area. Yeah. Obviously, you've got some sophisticated equipment here. We don't know how close you can get to stuff, but you can take photographs of. So we need to.
The conversation then takes another turn when the officer suggests contacting the duty manager to have NB Media's permission revoked altogether, moving the focus away from whether any law has actually been broken and toward finding another way to remove them from the area. The second officer does little to clarify the situation, implying that NB Media are somehow being awkward or behaving strangely simply because they decline to provide their personal details. However, choosing to exercise a lawful right is not, in itself, evidence of suspicious behavior. If officers genuinely believe someone is legally required to identify themselves, they should be able to clearly state the specific statutory power that creates that obligation.
To give you any details, and we're not suspected of any crime. So
I'm asking the gentleman first.
just yeah, Yeah.
I'm not asking for his date of birth
Yeah,
or his address. I'm asking
No,
for
I know
his
that,
first
yeah,
name,
yeah,
his signature. So instead of saying,
Yeah.
oi.
But he's speaking to him, isn't he? But you know, you don't suspect us of. You've seen what's on here, haven't you?
Because you're taking photographs of restricted area. Is there any reason why you're being awkward?
I'm not being awkward, I just know what's right and what's wrong. I've done nothing wrong today, at all, other than ask you guys some questions.
Well,
I've asked you what section of 24, or whatever section of PACE, I am legally obliged to give you my details.
well, like I said
But if
to
you
you,
can't answer that, I'm going to walk off there now.
okay, well, you've got that, but
It becomes increasingly clear that once NB Media begins challenging the officer's position, the discussion shifts away from the legal issues and toward personal criticism. Rather than addressing the questions being asked, they start describing him as difficult, troublesome, or anti-police, sidestepping the fact that they still have not identified any legal obligation requiring him to provide his personal details. If the airport ultimately decides to revoke permission through someone with the proper authority, that is a matter of private property management, not a mechanism for the police to obtain names and addresses without the appropriate legal basis. What makes the exchange particularly concerning is the suggestion that refusing to give those details could affect how the situation is handled. Decisions made by police should rest on evidence of an offense or a clearly established legal power, not on whether an individual chooses to make the encounter more convenient for the officers.
to make sure that there's no ulterior motive here.
I'm been committed here, I'm not a terrorist, nothing.
Well, we don't know
going
that.
on.
I don't know who
I'm
you
just
are.
a member of the public with a camera.
But I don't know that.
It's no more complicated than that.
I don't know that.
There's nothing outstanding on me.
I don't know that, because you're not giving me
Well,
your
I'm
details.
telling you that.
So
If
you
you
know
don't
to
give
the
me your
police
details, then obviously we'll have to decide what we're going to do further.
Are your photographs on a disc that we can have a look and see what
Are you
you've
known
been
to the
taking
police?
It's just
sir?
on the card, on the memory
You
card.
said
on the
there's nothing
camera.
outstanding.
Hey.
photographs? Look
That's,
at what you've been taking.
Yeah,
if you
of
hadn't
course
been
you
in any sort of
First thing one of the first things that got me interest was if you look up in that window there, see that cockpit in the window there? And also as we drove past this tail fin here, just a bit of
Go, keep going. Just flick through.
cockpit in the window there, yeah? Tail fin, that's about it. That's a video of something else.
Okay.
What's
Go
it?
the other way. Just go the other way.
Is it?
And then keep going. Any more? Any more? Keep going.
Mother-in-law, you don't want to see her, do you? So are you happy with that? There's nothing.
This one for.
The what?
What's the last one for?
What last one? It was to blur out the. It was just the fact that he was there. It was just to blur out the. Sorry?
What's this job?
Who?
This first.
I can't tell you that.
Why not?
Well, because it's not to me to tell you, is it? You know, I know, but I mean, if you know, I'm not being funny, but you know, you've already said, you know, we're not obliged to give you any
NB
detail.
Media goes a step further than they are required to by voluntarily allowing the officers to view the photographs they have taken, removing any credible suggestion that they are trying to conceal anything. Even after that level of cooperation, they put a straightforward question to the sergeant, asking which section of PACE creates a legal obligation to provide their personal details. No answer is given. That silence is significant, because if an officer is relying on a specific legal power, identifying it should be simple rather than becoming the most difficult question of the entire encounter. Instead, the discussion suddenly turns toward locating an airport bylaw that might provide a justification after the fact. Even when NB Media offers a practical solution by suggesting the notice could simply be emailed to them, avoiding any unnecessary delay, the officers decline and continue looking for something that will support their position. By this point, the interaction no longer feels like officers enforcing an existing legal power, but rather searching for one that might eventually fit the circumstances.
Email was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's all right, that's all we need.
I've got the date and time of the email.
Yeah, no, it's all right, that's all we need, so we can deal with it like that.
Are we free to go?
You're free to go, but like I said,
Right.
you've not got permission to come back onto the airport land taking photographs.
Right.
That's from the manager of the airport. All right.
see you fellas, have a nice day.
Thanks
Cheers.
a lot.
To DHL.
No, so that we can.
Just tell DHL.
All
we've
we
spoken
all
to
we
the
need to do is
photographers
just
and-
make
and
sure.
that it won't be that. Right?
No.
And that satisfies them.
Well, I just want to make sure that you're not here for any other reason. Else I wouldn't be doing my job. I mean, do you go on holiday? Do you fly and things like that?
No.
I guess you do.
What guessing
just-
games are you playing? No,
I'm
I
just-
don't play guessing games.
Why are you
We're
so
playing guessing
Why are you
games.
so obnoxious?
I'm not playing guessing games over what section
Why are you
of
so
pace is
obnoxious?
relevant
And
here.
you're-
Why can't you answer the questions that I've asked
All
you?
I'm just
what
trying to-
section of pace applies?
Well,
I'm lawfully obliged to
I'm
give
trying
you
to.
the
I'm trying
details.
to find
Nothing in
out.
pace specifies. Maybe they've made a mistake. Customer service sent an email from the website.
So you sent an email to the customer services
Off the website.
and she's emailed you back.
Yep.
Have you been here before? This is the first time.
Sorry?
It's the first time you've been here.
First time. Are we being detained at the moment?
We're asking questions, that's all we're doing.
I know.
I'm done here. Thanks for the chat.
2 seconds, mate. Just wait to my colleague carries out his inquiries, please. Just so we can get them out, so we're happy as police that you're no threat to us or the airport. That's all we're asking.
I'm not threatening you. I'm not threatening you. Public with a camera, taking pictures. Innocent snaps.
That's as
Nothing
far as it
hostile about
goes.
what I'm doing. Now, are we being detained? And if so, on what
We'll
grounds?
tell you in about 10 seconds. He's just been speaking to the airport duty manager, trying to get a full picture, and you'll get an update now.
The closing moments capture the overall handling of the encounter better than anything else. Once the sergeant can no longer provide clear answers, the discussion drifts away from the legal issues and turns into personal remarks, with NB Media being described as awkward and obnoxious simply for asking officers to explain the powers they were relying on. That is not the standard expected of a supervising officer, particularly when their actions are being questioned. The uncertainty over whether NB Media was actually free to leave is equally troubling. After asking directly whether they were being detained, they are told the officers are only asking questions, so they quite reasonably begin to walk away. It is only then that another officer follows after them, still unable to give a definite answer until the sergeant has spoken with the duty manager. If someone's freedom of movement is being restricted, that decision should not hinge on the outcome of a telephone conversation. Ultimately, the only concrete result is that NB Media is informed they must not return because the airport has withdrawn its permission. As the occupier of private land, the airport is entitled to make that decision. But it is a completely separate issue from whether the police had lawful authority to demand personal details throughout the encounter. Those two questions are repeatedly treated as though they are the same when they are not. What could have been a simple and straightforward interaction instead became an attempt to justify actions after the fact, rather than applying clearly established powers from the outset. Encounters like this inevitably affect public confidence when authority appears to take precedence over a clear legal basis. That's all for today's episode. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to support more independent coverage. Be sure to visit NB Media's channel as well using the link in the description and show.